Since the launch of the Ford Maverick, a lot of companies have been trying to join in on the opportunity. Mazda is one of them, but they often do things very differently. There is a growing demand for a compact truck with more power, strength, and utility. Mazda can offer that, Maverick can't. This is why Ford chose to collaborate on the legendary older Bronco models. But now they will be rivals, and this will change everything for us. So here is everything you need to know about the new Mazda compact truck that makes the Ford Maverick obsolete. Reliability. Mazda has a long and rich history of producing and selling trucks around the world. They've been making trucks since 1961 and they still do. Mazda's trucks are known for their durability and dependability. These old trucks were made mainly for heavy use, and they've been able to withstand the harsh conditions and all the wear and tear through all these years. Mazda is ranked 4th among all automakers in the 2020 JD Power Vehicle Dependability Study, which measures the number of problems experienced by owners of 3-year-old vehicles. So there is no reason to believe that the new compact truck could be any different. But this is not only for trucks. Mazda also has a range of successful SUVs that it can use as the basis for its new truck, such as the CX-3, CX-30 or CX-5. These SUVs are sold in the US market and have received positive reviews from customers and critics. This is one of the reasons that most of us in the US even know about this brand, and because of this, Mazda has also collaborated with other automakers, such as Toyota, Isuzu and Ford, to make trucks that share their reliability and quality. But don't be fooled, Mazda is not just about reliability. Although they seem smaller compared to other companies involved in this market, they make it an advantage. Mazda can do what others can't because they can change their ways quickly. They've always come up with unconventional ways to solve their major problems, like they did with the Rotary engine. But we'll talk about that and all the other possible engine options in depth later in this video, so stay tuned. Because before we get there, first you have to know about their secret gem that nobody is talking about. Platform. The whole purpose of a compact truck is to have truck-like features in a smaller SUV-like vehicle. And to do this, most companies just redesign their SUVs and turn them into trucks. Just look at the Santa Cruz. You wouldn't know it's a truck if you only looked at it from the front. But Mazda does things very differently. The BT50 truck that is sold mainly in Australia, Asia and Europe is built on a body-on-frame truck. This is very different from Maverick's platform. That one is a unibody platform. It's not a bad thing by itself, both have their own pros and cons. Unibody platforms tend to be lighter, more fuel efficient and more comfortable than body-on-frame trucks, but they are less durable, less capable and less customizable. This is why Mazda loves these platforms, and for us, the consumers, this is a very good thing. Because now, if you want more power, more strength and more capability, you could just buy this one and leave the Maverick for the urban dwellers and the Costco warriors. But this is not their only choice. If Mazda decides to build the new truck based on their SUVs, they'll most likely use their 7th generation small SUV platform, which is designed to offer a balance of performance, efficiency and comfort. But most of all, this platform uses Mazda's Sky-Active engine technology, which optimizes the combustion and compression ratios, dramatically improving fuel economy and power output. So let's talk about that in detail. Powerful engine options. The Mazda truck has 2 gasoline engine options. The first is a 2.5-litre turbocharged 4-cylinder engine that powers the CX-9 SUV, producing 250 horsepower and 320 pound-feet of torque, which is better than what the Maverick can offer. The second option is slightly less capable. It is a 2-litre turbocharged 4-cylinder engine that powers the Mazda 3 turbo sedan and hatchback, producing 227 horsepower and 310 pound-feet of torque. But this engine still has more torque than the Ford Maverick, which is one of the most important things to have for a truck meant to be capable and powerful. In other words, it simply means the new truck will be better in terms of power and versatility, such as towing capacity and off-road capability, and the compact truck market desperately needs a truck like this. Maverick tends to attract buyers who want more fuel efficiency while compromising power and capability. That is one of the reasons why it is cheaper. Mazda, on the other hand, is a much smaller company, so whatever they do, they have to think about it very carefully, and they can't offer what Ford can. So instead of playing by the rules, they have to flip the script and try new things, which is what they do best, and the Rotary engine is a testament to that. So let's continue on to that before comparing prices and Ford's huge advantage, fuel efficiency. Rotary engines. A rotary engine is a type of internal combustion engine that uses a rotating triangular rotor instead of pistons to perform the 4 strokes of intake, compression, combustion, and exhaust. They were mainly used in aviation during World War I and in some sports cars, such as the Mazda RX series. They are much smoother, more compact, and have a high power-to-weight ratio, and have fewer moving parts. However, they also have poor fuel efficiency, high emissions, oil consumption, and cooling problems. Although its power is high and its size is small, the rotary engine is not used often in most cars today. But Mazda uses it to power the electric motors inside the hybrid systems of cars. So they get the best of both worlds: the fuel economy of an electric engine and the power and smoothness of a rotary engine. And this setup could be a possible option for the new truck. So let's talk about the details. Hybrid option. One possible hybrid engine option for the new truck is a combination of a 2.5-litre 4-cylinder engine and an electric motor, which can produce 219 horsepower and achieve an estimated 40 miles per gallon combined. This hybrid setup also uses Sky Active technology, further improving fuel efficiency. If they go with this, it could be a huge advantage for them. Fuel efficiency is one of the main reasons people buy the Maverick. If Mazda could offer comparable or even slightly lower efficiency, there would be a huge demand for it, because who wouldn't prefer more power, better reliability, and much more capabilities in exchange for fuel efficiency? Towing capacity and off-road capability. If you've been following along, we don't have to explain how capable this truck will be. The platform, the engine, and everything else we just talked about play a huge role here. Plus, Mazda doesn't compromise when it comes to capabilities, and the reality is they can't afford to. Maverick revived the compact truck segment, and they've been the trendsetters, so almost all upcoming trucks are designed for the urban market, just like the Maverick. And currently, there's a huge void in the market for a good off-road truck. Mazda is the underdog, so they have to be able to capitalize on Ford's mistakes and offer something new and unique. It's either that, or they'll be missing out on this huge opportunity. But there is one more thing they could also use to their advantage. Release date. The new truck is expected to make its debut sometime in 2024. The new Mazda truck will be sold alongside the BT50, which is the current Mazda pickup truck that is based on the Isuzu D-Max. Mazda could benefit from this release date, as it could take advantage of the growing demand for compact pickup trucks in the US market. The Maverick has been a huge success, attracting over 100,000 reservations within a few weeks of its launch. However, the Maverick also faces some challenges, such as production delays, supply shortages, and dealer markups. Ford is a huge company, but the demand has been more than they can handle, so it will not be a surprise if buyers choose to go to Mazda, the smaller yet reliable and more capable truck. And by releasing it together with the larger BT50 truck, they could attract more attention and offer their customers more options. But there is one last piece to the puzzle: price. The compact truck market is very price sensitive. That's the whole point in the first place. The new Mazda truck is expected to start at around $25,000, which will put it in close competition with the Hyundai Santa Cruz. And by the time Mazda's new truck arrives, Ford may increase the price of the Maverick, which they already have, and due to inflation and demand, they could push it even further. This will make the starting prices of both trucks more comparable. But there is one more thing most buyers don't even think about when purchasing a new car: resale value. As of now, you can't get a Maverick for its suggested price. Dealership markups have made this truck that was meant to be affordable and cheap into a commodity that only a few can have. And let's say you buy one for a higher price. Then what will you do when you want to upgrade? What would be the point of owning a car if its value depreciates uncontrollably every year? Thanks for watching, and let us know your thoughts in the comments.